board meeting to order for April 13th, 2016 at 7 p.m. Roll call.
Trustee Gillis. Here. Trustee Ivan. Here. Trustee Killaway. Here. Trustee Price.
Here.
Trustee LaRue.
Here.
Trustee Moskal. Here. Mayor Ryback.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Please stand for the pledge, and after the pledge, please remain standing for a moment of silence for our veterans.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, we will open the public hearing on the vacation of Laverne Avenue.
The purpose of the hearing is for the board to discuss and hear public comments about a potential vacation of the unimproved portion of Laverne Avenue that runs along the old Midlothian Country Club property. So that's the purpose of the hearing. There's a proposal, as the board's aware, to possibly vacate some of this property. It's a 33 feet swath of unimproved land. So that's the purpose of the hearing, is to publish notice so that we can hear comments from the board if there's any, and then hear public comment, and then potentially vacate the property in the future.
Trustees, are there any comments? Is there anybody from the public who would like to address this issue?
Can you just tell us exactly where this is? Laverne on the east side of the country club?
So if the road that you come in off 147th is technically Laverne, and then it bends.
And that's on the east side?
So where it continues to go straight, there's a small portion of this dedication that was improved, and then it goes all the way through to, I believe, 143rd Street. And it's basically just grass, except for the intervening roads that go into what's now the fairway system.
So when you say we're vacating it, we're giving it to somebody?
Well, we're
taking
vacating, we own the property, but it was given to us for a particular purpose, which is for a roadway. And at this point, it doesn't appear that the village intends to build a roadway there. So we're going to say we're not going to own it anymore, and what happens is then it goes to the adjoining landowners.
So then it would go back to the country club?
No, it would split between both sides of the street. So whoever the homeowners are to the east, and whoever the property owners are to the west. So that would mostly be on the east side, or excuse me, the west side would mostly be the fairways as a common, and then there's individual
Wait, the
homeowners.
fairways meaning the townhomes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is a part of Laverne that's like, that is north of Cottage Row. It's a piece of land that's back by.
No. East of Cottage Row.
All right, you know where the white walls are going into the country club? That's Laverne. All right?
Yeah.
And if you keep going straight, it starts to veer to the left. You could take a little bit of a right there and it jogs. If you go straight down there, that would go through.
It actually dead ends at 144th place.
Okay, so it's just a piece of land that we're gonna vacate and it's gonna go to whoever? Because we don't need it? We're not gonna fix the road?
It's
build the road?
33 feet wide, and
Spider.
with how close to the swath or some of the porches are for the fairways, I mean, you could ask Mr. Koza, and he would be able to tell you better than I don't know that it's practical to build a roadway there the way it is now. And that's the only thing that we can really do with the land because of the way it was dedicated to us.
Can we put a rain garden on it?
No, you can use it for road purposes,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Okay.
So if you don't build a road and you get rid of it, this is what you do, is you vacate.
Oh, okay, that's fine, I just,
So the property owners to the east and west each get 16.5 feet, it's gonna be divided equally?
Yes, ma'am.
What about it? Oh, sorry, go ahead, Joe.
Will there still be a utility easement there?
Yes, sir. And there will be easements for all the improved roadways going to the east and west.
What about the issues with Cottage Row and the issue of paving emergency vehicles, et cetera? This might be a good deal for the village now, but we're talking 4 or 5 years down the line, if these homeowners don't take care of the road, or however that works. You know, I just remembered the coagulation of confusion when it came to Cottage Row. Have we ironed out the details of making sure that that roadway is cared for?
If I could, ma'am, there is no improved roadway there. It's grass.
So there's no need for emergency vehicles to ever have to use that thoroughfare?
Yeah, it'll be like driving through somebody's side yard, basically. So there's no roadways to be maintained.
Okay.
so then whoever takes ownership of it, then it's their responsibility to mow the grass and take care of it. And-
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
No other comments?
What if nobody takes ownership of some of the parsons?
When you vacate it, ownership vests as a matter of law. They don't have to necessarily accept it. But what's going to be proposed to the board's consideration is they're offering consideration to encourage you to vacate it. So for tonight, under the president's business, there's an agreement where persons are providing the village with money to encourage them to vacate it. And as you know, one of them involves a lawsuit that the village is involved with, so that's where this kind of originally generated.
And one last question, if that property then if that strip of land becomes real property that is owned by the townhome association and then whatever other neighbors on the other side, if that then becomes part of their property, does that increase the land mass that they are taxed on, and will they, you know?
Yeah, theoretically, when they're assessed, that should be included in the assessment.
Okay.
Do they have to have a new deed recorded there with the difference in the property?
The vacation is recorded with the Cook County Recorder of Deeds, and that will be added onto their title.
Onto the individual's property?
Yeah.
Where was this advertised?
It was published in the Southtown, for the hearing you mean?
Yeah, for the
Yeah, it was
hearing.
published in the Southtown.
Okay, because when I tried to do a search on the website, just on the keyword, you would think public hearing would come up, and it didn't.
Okay.
So to even discover the public hearing, just as an FYI, was quite a surprise. Not everybody reads the Daily Southtown, and we have great local papers, the Village View, we have the Midlothian Messenger kind of thing. So I must say, at least for the record, I'm a little disappointed that it took coming here to learn about, which made sense, by the way. Everything you said makes sense, but to come here and have to learn, rather than you guys putting this out on the website the way it should have been, and then it would be a true public hearing, because it's more of just here, we're surprising the public, this is what we're going to do, and if you have thoughts, go ahead, you know, kind of thing. So in the future.
Understood, ma'am. Yeah, the statute requires us to publish in the paper, which is why we did it, but your point is well taken.
How will you ensure equitable distribution of the property if a couple of those houses to the east of that property are vacant?
It just tacks on to the pin
But
number.
who's gonna make sure that somebody to the west doesn't come 17 or 18 feet over when the house is vacant?
And to be honest, I think that would be the individual property owner's responsibilities to measure it, just like anybody else's backyard. They're gonna have to handle that issue on their own.
All right.
Through the building department, I would imagine, through the building department. would
They
take
could,
that.
I mean, yeah, they could come to and say where it is, or they could get a survey challenge as well.
Okay. With no further comments, I'll close the public hearing for the vacation of Laverne Avenue. Before we go on to public comment, I have a couple of proclamations I would like to read, if the board will so allow. The first one is, whereas Team Flood Lothian is a dedicated and results-oriented volunteer community resident action group in the village of Midlothian, Bremen Township, County of Cook, State of Illinois, and whereas Team Flood Lothian recognized the imminent need to alleviate the burden of decades of repeated devastating financial loss, structural damage to property, and serious threats to the health, safety, and well-being of the residents and business owners of Midlothian. And whereas Team Flood Lothian's perseverance and positivity in the face of their challenges has achieved what was deemed to be the impossible, reaching out to and collaborating with Center for Neighborhood Technology, Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Illinois Department of Natural Resources, Illinois Environmental Protection Agency, Illinois Department of Transportation, Cook County Forest Preserve, South Suburban Mayors and Managers Association, and local, county, state, and federal elected officials. And whereas Team Flood Lothian's exemplary efforts have been recognized not only to the aforementioned agencies and government officials, but also by the Metropolitan Planning Council, National Park Service, Calumet Stormwater Collaborative, Trails for Illinois, and Active Transportation Alliance. And whereas Team Flood Lothian is supporting the Urban Flooding Awareness Act, House Bill 4659, and supported MWRD's new Watershed Management Ordinance. And whereas Team Flood Lothian was honored with the nomination for the 2015 United States Water Prize, received the Women's Initiative a Leadership Award from Itasca Bank, and the prestigious Illinois Association of Floodplain and Stormwater Management 2016 Public Education and Outreach Award for Rain Ready Midlothian Project. And whereas Team Midlothian has been instrumental in the formation of the Rain Ready Steering Committee, Complete Streets Technical Assistance Program Steering Committee, and Natalie Creek Trail Steering Committee, and formed an alliance with the Village of Midlothian's Beautification Committee. And whereas Team Midlothian has collected ample amounts of hard data and been able to effectively foster a bottom-up approach to build capacity and take action so Midlothian residents afflicted by reoccurring flood can seek relief. And whereas Team Midlothian has received some support from Senator Dick Durbin, Representative Will Davis, and Cook County Commissioner Joe Murphy, acknowledging the seriousness of the ongoing devastation and encouraging its continued efforts. And whereas Team Midlothian was instrumental in being selected for the CNT Rain Ready pilot study, which resulted in Midlothian being the first municipality in the nation to adopt a Rain Ready plan on January 17, 2016. And whereas Team Midlothian was instrumental in providing the need for and securing the proposed MWRD $8.3 million Natalie Creek Flood Mitigation Project and the USGS stream gauge obtained by the USACE through CNT's Silver Jacket program. Therefore, I, Sharon Ryback, Mayor of the Village of Midlothian, Illinois, in recognition of the aforesaid, do hereby proclaim the day of April 18, 2016 as Team Midlothian Day in the Village of Midlothian. And the second proclamation I have this evening is the Village of Midlothian proclamation for National Student Leadership Week. Whereas school-sponsored student leadership activities to provide students with vital experiences in exercising a voice in matters of common concern, reconciling diverse interests, and selecting leaders. And whereas student leaders are positive influence on their peers, modeling good character and scholarship in and out of the classroom, and serve as a change agent to improve the overall climate and academic performance levels of their schools. And whereas student leaders do not automatically develop sound leadership skills and require trained, dedicated faculty advisors to help them develop the essential traits and characteristics of a leader and to provide the positive experiences necessary to expand their skills and foster their paths to becoming effective leaders. And whereas the support of school administrators and faculty, parents, and community members is necessary to help ensure the successful education of all emerging student leaders. And whereas National Student Leadership Week serves as an ideal time to bring attention to the important and integral contributions that student leaders and all student activities make in our nation's schools. Now therefore, I, Sharon Ryback, as Village President of the Village of Midlothian, Cook County, Illinois, do hereby proclaim the week of April 17th through the 23rd, 2016 as Student Leadership Week in the Village of Midlothian in support of National Student Leadership Week, and urge citizens to seek opportunities to recognize student leaders in our schools and support their training and activities as they prepare themselves for the future stations as leader of our city, state, and nation. Thank you, trustees, I appreciate that. I believe actually we do have a couple of students. I was just going to open up the floor to the public for comment.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you all for having me here. My name is Javier Covarrubias. I am a senior at Bremen High School and also the National Honor Society president there. And I was just here to talk to you guys about the kind of community service projects we have at Bremen High School. I know our motto at Bremen is we have pride, but certainly something I can't speak for the students, the staff, and anyone else that works in that building, that something we take pride in is actually our community service efforts. Among those are the food drive, which I know many of you have participated in, where we donate food to local pantries. And that is one of the most successful community service projects we have around. It's something we take very big pride on. And also we do the blood drive, which is certainly one of the most successful blood drives in the Chicagoland area. And I participated in both of those events, and those are, it's just amazing seeing how many people come out to donate food, to help out, or to donate their blood, to save a life, or to just donate food for people who are in need. And again, it's amazing to see that, especially with people in our community and people in our high school. Also, what we do is the St. Baldrick's, which we raised $15,000 this past March. And again, that's amazing to see how many people come out to shave their heads or donate money to this great foundation that are the money being used to help these poor kids who have cancer. And also, we have Global Youth Service Global Youth Service Week coming up, where many of our National Honor Society members have made their own projects, such as the Cradles for Crayons project, where we're donating just like kind of basic stuff that like we can hand down to kids who need like them clothes or crayons. That was founded again by similar members of the NHS. And as president, it's just amazing to see how many people in our high school are involved in just making this town and this community such a more better place, and really putting Bremen in a good light. So that's just kind of something I wanted to talk about and hit on about Bremen High School and our community service projects. Thank you.
Are there any other public comments? Yes.
Valerie Weiskirk, sorry to make the meeting a little bipolar here because we went from really positive things, such as Midlothian, and that's really exciting to hear what Bremen High School is doing. Good job. Unfortunately, I have to bring it down a notch or two. And at first, it's a couple of questions really quick. How many results, Clerk Kolstad, have we received from DART's office from last year's year-long investigation? Last statistic you gave me, there were 6 total. You had given me 3 of those 6. Is there any more than the 6? And if so, what is that number? And also, out of those 6, how many more have you received, for example, like the one that was referenced by Ryback in her newsletter, talking about, DART's office trying to help with the bonds and couldn't do it? That letter wasn't, or that result wasn't in the package that you had given me with that FOIA request. So where are we at on that?
I haven't seen anything further.
Okay, so you haven't had anything come across your desk?
No.
At all? Okay, the next thing would be the PAC office, and I must say I'm severely disappointed, but not surprised. We're still not in compliance, Mayor Ryback. Your consent agenda says February 17th and February 24th. This is pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. You have no excuse, and what makes this even more pathetic about the delays of the meeting minutes is the fact that you, Mayor Ryback, forgot to put on the agenda not just Helen's proclamation and Team Midlothian for all of their hard work, but the other proclamation you read. Both of them are missing. You stole from both of those groups positive exposure because you don't care about the quality of this document, you don't care about the content of this document, and you don't care about the integrity. So, last week I asked you, after the meeting, about the SEC complaint, I asked you if it was self-reported. You did say yes. And then I asked you for clarity. Did you actually go ahead and outright tell them that you did spend $88,000? You explained to me you did include it in the report and that it was included through the Crow-Horwath report. I had determined last week that there was no other follow-up needed. I have made a new decision based on new information. I sent an email to the SEC before I came here and I advised them, and I referenced the complaint number, that one member of this one public official will be needing to report to them within 5 business days of their own illegal activities. If that public official does not report to the SEC and submit the report from Sheriff Dart's office outlining you're not being allowed to spend the $88,000 in bond money, I will go ahead and file that follow-up complaint as well as with all the other evidence I have. So if you're really going to self-report this, Mayor Ryback, you should have put yourself front and center, and instead you blamed this board. Stop doing this to this great community. So last, on a positive note, this is the most packed this side of the room has been since your tenure, and it's great. We've got a treasurer, we've got an engineer, we've got a building superintendent. This has not been here until today, under your administration, and that's been your responsibility, and you alone, not these trustees, you stop. Now and forever. They've been exonerated. The evidence is out there. Stop hurting the village and do right by the job title that you were voted to do, please.
Hi, I'd like to, about 2 months now, we've been asking for the internet safety zone. And it's just been pushed back, pushed back, pushed back. Well, Donna and I have done some homework today and on Monday. We visited, I'd say maybe 6 communities, and we have documentation both in our local newspaper saying that Oak Forest doesn't know, the internet safety zone, and Crestwood does it. Oak Forest has a sign, Alsop has a sign, Worth has no sign, but they do accept it. Oak Lawn has no sign and they do accept it, and so does Chicago Ridge. Why doesn't our community jump on board and make it safe for people who do internet sales for a safe zone? Why can't we get this passed? Why can't we get the sign put up there? We have cameras out there.
Gene, if I can take this one. Gene, I actually raised this to the police department a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
This hasn't been forgotten. The village has actually been having discussions with the VFW to try and address some of their parking issues. And so the issue is not that the village doesn't support it. I think everyone, certainly on the board did, and I think Chief Hoffman was supportive of it. We're just trying to work out exactly where at the moment. It's coming. It's not. This has not been forgotten or dropped.
Because it's been like 2 months now.
I know it has
almost
been.
3.
I know it has been.
And Jean and Ellen, if I can just interject, I had, Chief Kaufman had asked if I could talk to him about the parking situation. And I stopped in his office a number of times and he was out on calls. I finally was able to meet with him on Monday. We talked a little bit about the parking situation. He came up with some suggestions. The board doesn't know about any of this yet. I will bring it up at the committee meeting next week. One of them involved Public Works. I did send an email to Superintendent Sperry. He responded. So right now I'm trying to gather the information so that we can work out an amicable solution with the VFW and hopefully make the internet safe zone a reality. But again, we've got a number of partners here, and you know, all of us are wearing many hats.
Oh, I understand that.
But I finally did meet with Chief Kaufman, and we started the dialogue, and he had some, I thought, some good suggestions. So stay tuned. It's not forgotten, okay?
Okay, my second question is, Crestwood has a wonderful police Facebook page. And we've been asking for that also, because they give out alerts when things happen. And, you know, it's very, very informative. I get more information from Crestwood on things happening in Midlothian than I do in Midlothian from that page. When is our police department going to start their Facebook page? The official Facebook page, not the one that's out there that's like unofficial.
There really hasn't been any conversation about, there hasn't really been any conversation about starting a Facebook page for the police. I don't know how Chief Kaufman would feel about that.
It was brought up at a meeting a couple of months ago, wasn't it, Gary?
It was definitely brought up at a police committee meeting.
Right.
Whether
And
the options
I thought it was brought up at a regular committee meeting also.
It may not have been brought up at a regular meeting, but I do know, I've had discussions with Chief Kaufman about it, and I know he's asked some other departments how they've managed theirs, meaning who's actually manning it and owning it, and I think he's put out a few requests to other departments to ask.
Yeah.
And him respond.
I have, like I said, I've talked to a couple departments, when I talked to a couple other departments. The biggest issue that is finding out who controls it, who's going to post on it, what's going to be posted on it.
Well, when you open a Facebook page, you can approve membership and you can approve what is posted and what isn't.
Right.
And normally it would be whoever's the admin running the page that would post what's going on.
Right, and one of the concerns is with the alerts, what type of alerts that they actually put out. Social media could hurt an investigation also.
Well, you just be careful what you,
Right, exactly, and that's why I've been talking to a couple agencies to find out exactly what they put out. The positive reaction, the negative reaction, because obviously you have to have the admins that's gonna, take out the stuff that shouldn't be in there as well. And how fast, who's gonna do the posting, when it's gonna be posted, and things of that nature. So it's not just something I wanna throw up there, say, okay, let's set this up, and I wanna know how it's gonna be controlled and how we're gonna control it.
well, you
What
take one of
direction.
your officers who would be, I know a few of them that are willing to do that.
That's not always possible at the time because they're not always here either. So if there's certain alerts that need to go out, that's why we have the code red.
Not everybody is on
Well,
cold.
not everybody's on Facebook
Code red.
either,
I
and that's
understand
where,
that.
No, but Facebook is more credible and it's a public forum.
anyway, it's a matter of, the issue's being looked into, and it will get addressed. I just want to know I want to be sure before we do any of that.
Can I hold that to you?
You can,
Okay.
just like you can with the internet thing, because that's something
I will bring
we
this
thought
back
we
up.
would have that done by now, but we want to get the issue.
I'll bring it back up in another month if it's not enforced yet. I will hound you until I get this.
I've been hounded before.
I will keep addressing it and addressing it and addressing it until things get done. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to address the board? With no further comment, I will close the floor to public comment. And trustees, I'd be looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda. This evening we have the consent agenda consisting of the bill list, the minutes from February 17, 2016, the minutes from February 24, 2016, the February Health Department report, and the February Treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Trustee LaRue?
Aye.
Trustee Price?
Aye.
Trustee Gillis?
Aye.
Trustee Ivan? Aye. Trustee Killily?
Aye.
Trustee Masker?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, we'll move on to trustee business. Trustee Kreis.
This evening, I would be looking for approval of the intergovernmental agreement with the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning for the 147th Street Local Technical Assistance Program. You should all have the IGA, and you should have the scope of the project attached. That being said, I would like to make a motion to approve this IGA so we can move forward on this project.
Got a motion?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Price?
Aye.
Trustee Masker?
Aye.
Trustee Gillis?
Aye.
Trustee Ivan? Aye. Trustee Killily?
Aye.
Trustee LaRue?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, clerk, could you get me the signed copies tomorrow morning so I can get them scanned and back to them?
Yes.
Thank you. I have to turn the can't change anything. Okay. And with that, we do have a kickoff meeting scheduled. It's just a very limited group. This project is kind of exciting. It's with the assistance of the Center for Neighborhood Technology. We applied for this local technical assistance program. We've applied on these LTAs before. This is the first one we've received. Tony Mano, who is the project lead from CMAP, was with the RTA. He's very familiar with Midlothian. They're going to come in. They are going to study with IDOT, CNT, Active Transportation Alliance, So it's a collaboration of all these entities and all of these projects that we've been working on. And they're going to come up with concepts for implementation, I'm really excited about it because I'm excited about the partners. We've got IDOT, we've got a complete streets policy, we've got Center for Neighborhood Technology, and I just found out Kyle left, so Molly is probably gonna be taking the lead on this for CNT. Tony Mano is just awesome, and we will have Leslie and Hannah Kite from the Active Trans. So we've really got people who know what they're doing. They want to get this to engineering plans. So I know they're going to hold our feet to the fire. We will be forming a steering committee, and some of you out there are going to be on the steering committee. So stay tuned. We're going to have demonstration projects. This is going to be very, very exciting. So stay tuned. I'll keep you posted. And of course, anybody wants to serve on the steering committee, let me know. Second item that I have is approval to proceed with the demolitions at 145-16 Holman and 149-44 Kildare. I would just like approval, but I'd like to give some background on what I have been working on. And I have touched with our new building superintendent, Simone, on this, DeSimone. I reached out to Russ Ryden at the South Suburban Land Bank because I thought if these homes are bank-owned, if they could take title to these homes via a donation, it would make the entire demolition process much, much easier. It would certainly save the legal notice is correct, Attorney Gleason, if the land bank owned the properties. I did receive an email back from Stalini from the South Suburban Land Bank who works with Russ, and she has contacted the bank for the Kildare property. So what I'm looking for tonight is just for permission so the building department can start with the posting and the legal postings that we have to do on the property to start the process. So I'd like to make a motion to proceed.
I have a motion.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
I have a question. With regards to doing this, now this will be the third house, correct?
4 and 5.
Okay. I would like to see us have some funds available to complete the whole process, so we don't have situations like the Keystone property right now.
Well, I'm looking for grants, and I actually sent another email to John Watson at MWRD, because they have a program that they were going to be rolling out for green infrastructure projects that I found out about, and I'm looking to find grant funding to do those things, because we own it. But again, it's going to depend. 2 of the properties that we demolished, we do not own. We own the Keystone property, Jerry, okay?
Well, the reason I bring this up is the homeowner just south of that property was in last week, and I think we do owe it to the neighborhood to tell them what our ultimate plan is, outside of just saying, yes, we're going to make it a parking lot. If we don't have grant money available, and it's not going to be available readily within the next 6 months or a year, my thought process is we should look for funds within a village to at least finish up that particular property. We discussed taking trees down. We discussed, making it more presentable. I don't like the idea that it's just sitting there with a dumpster and we don't have any plan to do anything until grant money comes available. And I shared this with the homeowner. I think we do owe, as a board, to come up with a more solid solution other than just knock the home down and wait for grant money. And I'm not saying that what you're doing or what the board is doing is wrong. I'm saying we need to just finish the page and come up with a thorough process so that we don't have a big mud hole sitting next to someone who's owned that house for the last 60 years.
And I did, before the process started, I contacted that. They had reached out to me. I have applied for 2 grants. Unfortunately, neither one of them came through. So I'm on my 3rd round now looking for money from the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago. So it's not like I'm not, but that, you have to agree that house had to come down.
Oh, I know.
And there shouldn't be a dumpster on the lot.
Well, it was when he was talking to me.
No, because I think those dumpsters, once they were done, Republic took the dumpster away.
Today he came in.
No, I think they may still had, because I know Ty was there at one point, Joe, like with the backhoe, trying to kind of level everything out.
Yeah, you're saying it's still there, Karen.
As of 2 o'clock this afternoon, the dumpster was still there in the center as well.
I can call tomorrow.
Yeah, that should have been, okay,
I wasn't aware of it.
me either.
And I guess he came.
That should have been long gone.
Do we have a time frame when we're gonna take some of the trees down, or we just, I mean, there's 9 trees on that one piece of property.
We could probably use the item, let me double check, we could probably use the item grant money for tree removal, okay? That grant expires in August. That's why I think it's important, if we can start with the legal process, if we cannot get the South Suburban Land Bank to take these homes as donations, and really one of them has back taxes, so I think that would be the best thing to do for them, because nobody's gonna buy these houses are in deplorable condition. The sheriff, I know, we can get the sheriff to take the houses down at no cost to the village, and then we can use the IDA funding to do the asbestos testing, the asbestos remediation, pay for the dumpsters, and probably if there's trees on that lot, let me look into getting the trees down, because Joe, you probably don't have the capacity to take those trees down.
I would take a look, we might be able to do something.
Okay.
What I recall, there was some right by the neighbor's house. That
Right.
might be a little bit.
There's a couple of big evergreen trees there, and
Yeah.
some smaller ones that
Okay.
are manageable.
I'll take a look at it tomorrow.
And I will
No,
check
we
to
can do.
see what the grant will or will not pay for, okay?
May I ask a quick question? When these houses are removed from the property, does the demolition also include removal of any concrete foundation? Like if there's a basement, does the basement get pulled out as well?
This had a basement, and I believe it was filled in.
Yes.
The Keystone property you're talking about? So
Again,
then-
the Cook County Sheriff
Right.
is doing this at no cost.
Right,
So-
but then once the Cook County Sheriff is done with their part, if they fill it in, then the village comes in, try to level out the ground, do we put some sod over it, do we just leave it
We
dirty?
just left it, we left it.
Can we put sod on it or throw some grass seed on it? So
Yeah,
it's not
I
a big
think we
money.
probably need to talk about that, because I'm actively looking for funding to do a green infrastructure project on that
Uh-huh.
parcel.
And then what about these two homes? Like, these two homes are bank-owned, you said?
They are currently bank-owned.
Okay, and so as the municipality, we still have the right to go and have the house knocked down even though the bank owns them?
With proper legal notification.
So we can't
Yes.
force the bank to knock them down?
It's much quicker if we do it.
Oh, okay. And then when those are knocked down, even though the bank owns it, can we tell the bank they have to come in and sod it or seed it or do something to it so it's not just a big
We
dirt
could tell
plot?
them, but they may not do it. What happens is when the Cook County Sheriff takes them down, the sheriff has the right to lien the property,
Okay,
okay?
all right.
And we do have a new building superintendent now, so I'm hopeful that we will work together and try to make this property. He's got a lot on his
If I
plate.
could just add one thing, I mean, we're having enough problems getting the banks to cut grass on these insurance properties, let alone do a beautification after somebody else has paid for the removal or the demolition of the structures, so. It is an issue still.
And again, the banks own them, and they're falling down, and they're not doing, and they're still trying to sell them. Nobody's gonna buy these structures. They're in deplorable condition.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so,
I have a first and a second, right? Roll call.
Trustee Kreis,
I,
trustee LaRue,
Aye.
trustee Gillis. Aye. Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Kilby.
Aye.
Trustee Maskell.
Aye.
Motion carried.
next on the agenda, I would like to invite everybody to the Midlothian Rain Ready Open House on Saturday afternoon. The Midlothian Public Library has graciously agreed to host it for us. It's from 1 to 3 p.m. And we have a phenomenal Rain Ready display up in their display case. We have a number of partners who are coming out that day to join us. Our great friends at the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District will be there, raffling off a rain barrel. They will also be taking applications for their free rain barrel program. They will have 15 18-inch native oak saplings that they are giving away in pots.
5-0, right? 5-0.
5-0.
Sound like you said 15.
No, 5-0, and we can get more. We weren't sure how many to have them bring, because poor Joe.
Get over it.
Joe is going to be transporting, they're gonna make their delivery on Friday to Public Works, and then Joe is going to bring them over to the library for distribution on Saturday afternoon. Joe, thank you. I know every time you get a phone call or an email from me. We have a number of giveaways. Pitt Sewer's gonna be there, Joe, you arranged that. They're gonna have information on how to deal with some of the plumbing issues. Molly Ocean from CNT informed me late yesterday that her plans changed and she will be there. I'm trying to think who else we lined up. Of course, all of our beautification committee will be there. We're gonna be talking about rain gardens and planting, and again, we got some great free giveaways and raffles, and Active Transportation is supposed to be providing us with some things. We're going to have our wonderful storyboards on display from Center for Neighborhood Technology, copies of our Rain Ready plan. We will be there, the steering committee will be there to answer your questions, give you information. Again, this is a continuing dialogue. So we look for ways to start implementing our Rain Ready plan, which I was doing last night. But I would encourage you, come out, find out more about Rain Ready, because it's really just phenomenal. I received a phone call from Riverdale, and they wanted to know about Rain Ready. They are one of CNT's new communities, and I could not speak highly enough about how Rain Ready is transforming Midlothian. So, at the library this Saturday from 1 until 3.
Karen?
Yes.
Did you happen to speak to Grills? Do they have
Oh,
their
Grills
rain
is
ready?
they're gonna try to be there as well, yes.
Do you know, is their rain ready center in their store done yet, or are they still in
I
process?
think they're in the process of their remodel, but I did reach out to Jake Turhart, and he was going to talk to Kyle, his manager, and they were going to be there as we discussed at our Rain Ready steering committee. So I said, bring whatever you want to advertise that you're gonna be a Rain Ready store. So, that is Saturday afternoon. Veterans Committee will be meeting on Monday at 7 p.m. and we will be dealing with our parade, which is on June 25th. And as another point of information, I did receive in the mail, I think on Tuesday, the executed intergovernmental agreement from the Regional Transportation Authority for the Access to Transit grant. This is the $980,000 grant. So, Jeff, I'm sure you're glad to hear that. We're moving along. We're moving along. That's all I have this evening.
Trustee Ivan.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to make a motion to approve the purchase of the High Ranger for Public Works.
I have a motion.
I'll second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Trustee Gillis.
Aye.
Trustee Killily.
Aye.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Trustee Maskell.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. I want to make the motion to approve the bus shelter contract with ICSC.
I have a motion.
I'll second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Gillis.
Aye.
Trustee Killily.
Aye.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Trustee Maskell.
Aye.
Motion carried.
I'd like to make a motion for the approval of Roy's Landscaping for the village lawn care.
I have a motion.
I'll second.
This was minus the residential property line cutting.
Correct. It's only our property.
8 or 9 parcels, something like that.
Okay. I have a roll call.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Maskell.
Aye.
Trustee Gillis.
Aye.
Trustee Killily.
Aye.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Motion carried.
I'd like to make the motion for approval to waive the permit fee for soil boring for the Natalie Creek Flood Control Project by MWRD.
I'll second. We want Len to get started.
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Trustee Gillis.
Aye.
Trustee Killy.
Aye.
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Trustee Maskell.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. I make the motion for approval of resolution requesting the Community Development Block Grant Funds for 2016.
I'll second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Killy.
Aye.
Trustee Gillis.
Aye.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Trustee Maskell.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. I'd like to make the motion for the approval of the 2016 Community Development Block Grant application.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Trustee Gillis.
Aye.
Trustee Killy.
Aye.
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Trustee Maskell.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. There's a couple of other things I wanted to mention quickly. I talked to our audio engineer guy that installed our original sound system and the recording equipment. And I want to bring him in and actually set up the equipment and get it all working. I was unable to figure out how to do it using the manuals and stuff like that. So I want to bring in the professional. And it should be like maybe $200-300 cost, if that'd be okay. The other thing I wanted to mention is tomorrow night, I have the technology meeting, recruitment meeting. That's at 7 o'clock. And I do have some students from Brennan High School that will help us with that as well. They talked to the school and they volunteered to assist with it. And the last thing I have is this MS4 permit for the IEPA, which I'm going to turn over to Joe to talk about.
This is just one of the obligations we have to keep our separate sewer permit. The purpose of this update is to report on the program as well as to seek public input relative to the National Pollution Discharge and Elimination System Phase 2, the NPDES permitting process, which requires villages such as Midlothian to file an NPDE Phase 2 annual report with the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency addressing all the requirements of the permit. The framework of developing the village's NPDES Phase 2 permit application and plan is the village's existing stormwater management plan, SWMP. The purpose of the Midlothian Stormwater Management Plan is to provide a complete guide and reference for managing the quality of surface water resources within the village of Midlothian. The plan assists the village with policy decisions, water resource management, implementation priorities, regulatory program references, and capital improvement budgeting for water resource issues. Midlothian's NPDES Phase 2 plan addresses the 6 minimal control measures outlined in the permit requirements. Many of the best management practices required in the NPDES permit have already been developed in accordance with the village's stormwater management plan initiated in 2003. The minimum control measures of the permit are public education and outreach, public participation and involvement, illicit discharge detection and elimination, construction site stormwater runoff, post-construction runoff control, and pollution prevention / good housekeeping. You can find our annual report on the website under stormwater management, and we just ask the public to make sure that you notify us if we see anybody dumping anything into the creeks, into the storm sewers. We ask that the village, the residents, make sure that they keep all the storm drains clear so that we keep grass and fertilizers out of the stormwater. This is basically to make sure that we're keeping the open rivers and creeks clean of illicit discharges. So if anybody has any questions or comments.
Joe, who do you call when you see someone doing that? Specifically, we call Public Works?
Yeah, you call us, report it to us, and then we'll report it to the IEPA.
Okay.
And that's it.
If they're dumping or,
Yeah, if you see somebody dumping a drain,
if they're dumping or something, then call the police, call us and so we can address it right away.
Okay, because someone was doing it today, but it was on the street. It's, I'm sorry, what's the block the library's on?
Kenton,
Kenton. It's the people, the apartments are dumping their yard waste across the street or right there next to the creek. So as you know, when it overbanks,
Right,
that's
right.
what's in the creek. That's what you
Yeah.
guys are
Yeah,
file
well,
kidding.
report it to us and
I
warn
told
the
her
police.
to, and I don't think she did. So it's,
Because we have ordinance on illegal
Right,
dumping and stuff
exactly.
like that, so if we get notified, we can take action as well, try to.
well, it's today. She did it today.
would you prefer 911 or would it be the non-emergency?
Non-emergency.
Non-emergency is better for that.
If anybody sees any discoloration in creeks or anything that looks like, let's say antifreeze or oil or something, let us know.
Or if you see me floating.
That's it.
Oh, and that concludes my portion.
Trustee Gillis.
Yes, I would like to formally welcome Superintendent DeSimone. I haven't been in town, so we haven't had the chance to sit down and catch up on some things, but I can let the board know that we have many pending issues, including hiring a second code enforcement officer and getting our property maintenance procedures down pat. Those two address the issues will be addressed ASAP and quite a few other things. So we'll be sitting down the next few days and going through things. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee LaRue.
Yes, ma'am. In everyone's board packet this evening, there's an ordinance to amend Title I, Chapter 3 of the Village Code, which in essence would reinstate Cook County Sheriff's Tom Dart's office as the independent inspector general for the Village of Midlothian. A little while back, I was handed some very troubling information that I thought needed to be looked into, and after running it through our legal, I believe at this time it's our fiduciary responsibility to investigate the matter, starting by reinstating Sheriff Tom Dart's office as our Inspector General. So I make a motion that we approve this ordinance amending Title I, Chapter 23 of the Village Code, establishing the office of the Inspector General of the Village of Midlothian and designating the Cook County Sheriff's Office to hold the office of Independent Inspector General.
Have a motion?
I'll second it.
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Gillis.
Aye.
Trustee Killily.
Aye.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Trustee Masko.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Last week at committee, we discussed a outdoor pyrotechnical fireworks display permit for the Midlothian Country Club scheduled for July 3rd. We got the information last week, and I believe it's all good to go with the fire department. So I will make the motion that we approve this permit for Midlothian Country Club, July 3rd, 2016, and the company is Melrose Pyrotechnics.
Have a motion?
I'll second.
Discussion?
Yes, I have a couple questions. Are we charging the country club for the use of our emergency response vehicles that will be there?
Yes.
Okay. I also think that we should make sure that the building code issues that they had pending with the illegal dumping, I believe that we should address that before we approve this permit.
Yes, sir. I think I spoke to Silver. We don't charge them for the use of the equipment. We charge them, they get, the guys who do the detail get paid. That's it.
Okay, I believe we should charge them for the use of the equipment, so I believe that's in our ordinance. That if we have, I mean, we really don't put our vehicles out there for private use. But if we do, I think the country club should have some fee to do that, because otherwise they would be bringing somebody in, private contractor, or somebody else to do fire watch. I mean, I don't believe that we should do this for nothing, outside of paying part-time people to do this, because we're not sending full-time people. And I know that we've done this in the past, but I also believe that we have some issues with the country club that need to be addressed. And we should do that before we can say, yeah, we'll give you a permit, we'll bring our vehicles up with, excuse me, and do it for, you know, $14 or $15 an hour, part-time firefighters are making.
We would need to charge the purchasers as well for these,
I think anytime we're putting our vehicles out there, we shouldn't just do it for nothing, especially in this day and age, where we have, you know, quite a few pieces of expensive equipment. I know in the past, they've been there and got stuck in the grass because it was too wet. There's some issues there that, you know, could end up costing us money. But I don't think we should just let them do it for nothing. But I also believe that we should address the building code issues prior to agreeing to give them this permit.
As I commended Chief Hotwagner today about how timely he gives me stuff, we have plenty of time to discuss this before we do pass it, if you'd like to table it.
That sounds great.
Have a motion to table in a second. Roll call.
Trustee Gillis.
Aye.
Trustee Killily.
Aye.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Trustee Maskell.
Aye.
Okay, motion to table carried.
Also, I'd like to let everyone know that our revised emergency management agency application is now online, and we are actively seeking members to join our emergency management agency. So please go online or contact myself or Fire Chief Hotwagner so that we can start to rebuild that agency. And another reminder of the community policing golf/day or golf outing coming up on May 21st, Saturday, May 21st. It's going to be held at Fountain Hills Golf Course, and also, as usual, it's our 7th annual. And we are seriously looking for golfers, hole sponsors. I'll keep bugging all of you guys up here for hole sponsors. It's a great event. It's a fun event, and it's moving along pretty well, but we need golfers and we need hole sponsors. So that is all I have.
Okay. Trustee Killwood.
Nothing specific, except I do have two questions. One is, that A word, we got any farther with the audit, Mayor?
I actually talked with our auditor, Mr. George, and he said he had to get a couple more clarifications from his legal department, and he would get back to me by the end of this week. I don't know what he's dragging his heels on. But I did get contacted by Chris Mauer from the comptroller's office, and she is willing to help intervene as well. So she says if we are not resolved by the end of this week, she will reach out to Mr. George and talk to him personally. I'm working on it, still trying to get it.
Could I make a suggestion, please? Again, I don't want to be the person just throwing bad news here, but I think we should make it almost a public notice how we've been handling them. And I think if individuals that go outside of the state of Illinois, meaning some of the corporate sponsors or owners of this company, get full disclosure of what's going on with the little town Midlothian here, I think that's an avenue we should look into.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not saying blackball them, but I'm saying let's make it public how we're being handled here. I think it's ridiculous that we're going this way.
Yeah.
I had talked to somebody actually who is aware of the ownership of the particular company with Ladder Comb, and he feels that if the chairman of this company was aware of this, it wouldn't be happening. And I think that's an avenue that we probably need to follow.
Okay.
Instead of just wait for next week.
Okay.
To corporate?
Thanks. The way I got it from John George is it seems like he's working with his corporate office, so I really don't know
Why
what they're
would you
doing.
trust anything from John George? I mean, that's just my
Yeah.
opinion.
Okay. All right, I'll try to go up the food chain and over at the Gladry and get to the chairman or the higher up at least. Okay.
The stupid comment would be, I don't know, we should set a deadline. If they don't give us an audit by a certain date, we should hire another auditing firm, and that's it. I mean, I think, give them 2 weeks, call them up and say, hey, you got 2 weeks. Otherwise, we're gonna, at the next official meeting, we're gonna contract with another auditing firm. Second stupid comment was, or question was, did we ever settle the date of cleanup day?
What?
14th.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so cleanup day is May 14th, not the 14th. Okay, good.
21st.
So I think that works.
Perfect.
Perfect.
I'll let one plan on you.
There you go. All right.
Did you bring the
Thank
golfers?
very much, and that's all.
Yeah, golfers have to come clean first on the 14th, then they can go golfing on the 21st. There you go.
I can practice the swing with picks and shovels.
There you go. That's all you have?
That's all.
All right, trustee Mosco?
Yes, I have a few items. Share an email, I believe the whole board got this, but I only brought the second page of it. From Lieutenant Amrine, the Midlothian Police Department will once again be working with the DEA on the National Drug Take-Back Initiative on Saturday, April 30th. The hours will be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The collection site will again be the Midlothian Police Department in the roll call training room. Lieutenant Amrine has forwarded this information to the messenger. Hopefully you already received it. And he has also sent it to Nicole, so it should be posted on the website if it is not already. This, I know this event has been a big turnout for us since we've had it, so we'll remind people again next week, the next meeting. The other item I have is a request for approval for the low bid for the air conditioner replacement at Grade A Lodge. I sent the board several emails over the last 2 or 3 weeks with the information and the estimates, and also a memo from Superintendent Sperry. This is all following on our meeting March 17th with the Park District and the urgency to get this repaired before it's done. I want to thank everybody for their comments. I know, Jerry, I don't get a chance to read the email, but
Yes.
we did talk to contractors about some other solutions to see if there was a better way to approach it, and no one was interested in even bidding on that because of the weight of equipment or the additional cost in reconfiguring all the ductwork. Joe, was there anything else?
No, yeah, I tried to get them to bid it out as one unit, like you were saying, so that they had one thermostat and all that. None of them even, they said they couldn't give the price on it. They had to get engineers in there, check out the roof, because the unit would be so big. They said, you wouldn't want to be, you wouldn't want to do that anyway, because the cost would be crazy.
So there were 4 bids, ranging from the low bid of $25,598 up to the highest bid of $51,960. And Superintendent Sperry's recommendation was that we award the emergency repair work to Max Refrigeration for $25,598. I will make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll second.
We got a second, discussion.
Joe, did you get a chance to go over and go through the roof? And, from your emails, you
Yeah, I've been.
you tagged this company.
Yeah, they're the ones that have been doing the work around here. The guy's very good. He answers his call, he shows up, on the first phone call.
And it's as bad as
Oh, yeah.
they say it.
You've seen some of these units, they look like the original Central Air units. They came out in the 60s, I mean.
Well, there's one up there that hasn't worked for the last 10 years.
Yeah. They're bad. Leaking, all over the place. They're causing more damage to the floors, carpet, ceiling tiles.
So we need to replace the air conditioner that hasn't worked for 10 years?
Well, there's
4 different units.
It just basically wasn't getting air conditioning on the dance floor section of the building. So they're
Which is important to Jerry.
Yes.
To your point though, Carl, I think one of the 4 units has not been operational. 2 have had serious leaks that have been, I think the Park District has been paying to have them fixed the last several years just to keep it running, but there's been other damage caused by it. New units are obviously much more efficient than they were 25 or 30 years ago when those were put there. So they're going to replace 5-ton, 4 5-ton units with 4 4-ton units. That will hopefully help with the weight as well too. But
My guess is those old units are R134 probably, which is trying to completely get rid of that.
I think so.
They're that old, it's got to be.
Yeah.
The big question I have is, are we going to continue to put money into this building? Is that our long-range goal, is to keep disagreement with the park district? I mean, we haven't really talked about that issue. And I'm actually not comfortable with investing $25,000 into a building that we don't make a penny off of, or very little money. If we do, we have an agreement with the park district, why don't we just look into selling it to them?
We'd still have to replace those units if you.
Okay, but I'm just saying, the long-range goal is, you know, what if the heating goes out, you know, come December? What if, you know, that pump house that I believe is still owned by MWRD, or it was at one time, you know, you look at the outside of the building, it starts to rot. We should, you know, look for a game plan to do this, rather than just say, okay, the air conditioning's broke, let's spend 25 grand to fix it. And I'm not saying it shouldn't be fixed, I'm just saying, I feel more comfortable if we had a plan of action versus, you know, we don't, it wasn't budgeted, it wasn't something that we had been looked into in the past, because we really haven't discussed the issue with the park district. I think that's more of a pressing issue in my mind, is what are we gonna do with this piece of property? If not now, next year.
So Jerry, two things. One, when we met in March, the park district indicated they were interested in continuing the agreement. Neither party has notified the other that we wanted to cancel it. I think they have a lot booked, at least for the next year. They have bookings reserved, mostly for residents in Midlothian, so at least our residents are using it. To Gary's point, if we were to sell it, we would likely still have to make this repair, but one of the things that I committed to do after that meeting was work with Joe on a list of what we think other repairs will be, or would need to happen in the next couple of years. I don't think 6 years ago we thought we would still be in this agreement with the park district right now. We didn't really know how it was gonna work. But there's other things like the building you mentioned, the pump house, the roof, there's outside painting, carpeting, interior painting, all kinds of things that would be big ticket expenses that we will need to address. My plan was to come up with that estimate, and then we can talk about that as a board, because you're right, when we see those numbers, it might not make sense to keep retaining ownership of it, and maybe we talk to the park district about potentially selling it. That's a very good point.
I have to agree with Jerry about spending the money on the building, but also the whole idea of the communication between the park district and the board is inadequate. They were supposed to notify us of these kinds of expenses and did according to the contract. So I'd like to make sure that that, at least to the minimum, with the contract is followed through by the park district.
And they acknowledged that they had not notified us. They also did provide an accounting note, which I think I shared with the board, of the number of expenses that they paid for.
And the other comment I would like to make, first of all, John, I want to thank you for all your work, because I know you put a ton of work into this to make this happen and to make sure that the village got the best price possible. The other thing, I believe work has been done that required permits over there, and permits were not pulled. So I want to make sure that, I'm sure you'll know that a permit is pulled for this work.
Well, you want to charge them because they're just going to add that to the
No,
cost.
I think it could be a no-fee permit, if that would be the board's pleasure, but they have to, if the work is done, the permits have to be pulled and the work has to be inspected.
Sure.
And I believe that was not occurring. Not your fault, Joe. Wasn't you, Joe? Wasn't you, Joe?
Can we blame Bill now?
No.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Maskell.
Aye.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Trustee Gillis.
Nay.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Killalay.
Aye.
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Motion carried.
I believe that's all I have to see.
Okay. Go on to department heads. Chief Kaufman?
I have no report.
Thank you. Chief Outwagner?
Nothing, Mayor.
Superintendent Sperry?
Yeah, just a couple things. The water main project on Cicero, we had a meeting today with Robinson and the contractor, kind of go over the new, the plan up there how to navigate that water main through all the new construction that's gonna be going up, the new development. I'm hoping to start next week, weather permitting, putting that water main in. Should take, hopefully, with a couple of weeks at the most. Next item is we're taking delivery of the new wood chipper tomorrow. The branch pickup is currently going on in the southeast quadrant, and this week through Friday, and then next week will be in the southwest quadrant. That's everything south of 147th and west of Pulaski. And lastly, I'd like to thank the board for everything they approved tonight on behalf of Public Works. That's it.
Okay. Superintendent DeSimone?
No report at this time?
Okay. Engineer Koza?
I have a lot, but I will try to run through it quickly. Just to update the board, the SDP projects, the street resurfacing at 144th and 149th. That bid opening with IDOT is next Friday. Just check the website, you have 5 bidders for each project. I'd imagine potentially there's 6, I saw one name was missing, but hopefully we get good results from that. Just want to also to let the board know, I believe Ricky Rockets is in the process of submitting their actual MWRD permit application for the development. I just provided them the signed copies last week. We had gone back and forth on a couple of stormwater issues that they resolved, so I feel they're in a good place to apply for that permit. Also, I just completed the first review on the civil engineering plans for the drive time development. I sent those comments to Superintendent DeSimone and the developer, working with Superintendent Sperry on the CDG applications, some cost estimates, and some other items. Also, we have the Central Park sewer lining project bid opening on Monday at 10 o'clock. That is for the sewer lining repair work to be done from 147th place to 147th. Is that right? Yeah. So we will open those bids on Monday. Hopefully have those results to you so you can discuss them next Wednesday. I'm also working on a street resurfacing program for this year. We just finished up topography on several potential parkway rain garden locations, so we're going to put together some recommendations on that potential improvement on top of the 20 streets that were identified to be resurfaced. And then finally, I made the board aware of a couple of potential IDOT funding opportunities, the Highway Safety Improvement Program, and I think more importantly, the Illinois Transportation Enhancement Program, ITEP. That's some funding available for a number of potential projects, and I believe Trustee Price is looking into that as well.
And Jeff, just so you know, I reached out to Molly Ocean and Santee, and she thinks we might be better served by waiting on ITEP until next year. And I had sent an email to Hanukkah, Leslie Pinkster at Petrans, and Tony Mano at CMAP. It might help to fund the CMAP Local Technical Assistance project that we're building into. So I'm waiting to get feedback. I also thought about collaborating, and I reached out, I told Molly that was in my email, collaborating possibly with the city of Oak Forest, because these projects seem to score higher when there's collaboration with other municipalities. So stay tuned. I've started investigating.
One thing to note, though, there is no application next year. It's 2 years away.
2 years, okay.
Jeff, with the MWRD permit application being submitted, can we anticipate what is next? Or what is shovel maybe put in the ground?
I hate to guess on that. There's another factor in play. They have to get permit from IDOT for the storm sewer connection for the overflow pipe from the pond. So I think their plan is to get the MWRD permit in order and then send it to IDOT. So I can't necessarily put a time frame on that. If you'd like, I can reach out to their engineer to see if they think they have any schedule in mind, and we'll report back on that, but I don't want to speculate on that at this time.
Jeff, I just want to thank you for letting us know about the community forum event that was held last night. It was a fantastic event.
Excellent.
I guess without you telling me, you might have heard about it, but it's
Well, we would have, because Dominic Tosi did send me an email, but it wasn't until Tuesday, or Monday.
a lot of powerhouse people there, and it was a great
Yeah, I personally wasn't able to make it, but one of our staff did, and they kind of back over those sentiments as well.
I made a great contact with the Director of Homeland Security, Cook County Homeland Security, and he's, we'll be in contact with him to see what we can do.
Cool.
And I talked at length and sat with Dominic Houtsey from Cook County Economic Development, and I had the Rain Ready plan in front of me, and we specifically talked about some of the initiatives in there, and specifically the Jolly Homes engineering study and funding for the community rating system. So, and as I was talking about the Jolly Homes, Mr. Jordan sat right next to me, and I said, here are the residents that are truly affected by these problems. And I had a number of the residents come up to me as we were talking, so we got to see residents who are affected and why we need this funding. And again, I introduced them to the PI and Trustee LaRue. It was a really good networking opportunity.
Dominic was very happy sitting with you the whole time.
But he emailed me and he said we can talk at the forum, okay?
And you did.
Anything else, Jeff?
No, that's it.
Treasurer Britton? Under my business, just a couple of things. First off, on the 14450 property on Cicero Avenue, I have received a offer on the property to sell. It is the price that the trustees have asked me to secure. I'm going to try to move forward with that at the end of this month, at the last meeting of this month. The one thing I wanted to know from the board is, do you want the sale of the property contingent on a redevelopment agreement, or are we just going to sell the property and we'll do the redevelopment later? I need to know before I say, yes, we'll sell.
Well, I think, and I probably defer to Attorney Gleason, I think it's really helpful if it's tied to a redevelopment agreement.
Could you guys do me a favor then, if you wouldn't mind emailing me individually, like some of the items you'd like to have in the RDA?
Well, I think Attorney Gleason's pretty familiar, Bob, you've done enough of them to know what we want in an RDA.
Do we want them to do any specific testings or anything like that?
Testings.
Well, it's already had all the phase 1 and phase 2s, correct?
I sent you the reports.
Okay, that's on that's that property as well, okay. Okay, then I will get together an RDA for that as well.
Excuse me, Mayor, which property is the 14450?
The one north of the
North of where
the
Drive
used
Time
car
is
lot.
going?
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
north of,
used car lot, okay.
north of Drive Time.
Okay.
And speaking of Drive Time, I received an email late this afternoon from Drive Time asking for a 30-day extension because of the results from the IEPA, the phase 1 and phase 2 studies.
That's not IEPA, that would be United States Environmental Protection Agency.
Okay, thank you. And so they are going to ask for an extension. I would probably recommend the extension. The one thing I am concerned with is he, in his email, he also had discussed maybe turning the sale of the property into a lease agreement instead. I didn't get a chance to talk to him because he was out of the office, but I will be reaching out to him and I'll have more details next Wednesday on this project. They have, I know, come in and all their contractors have submitted for their permits to do the work. And I know Jeff's been reviewing their plans, so I don't know what happened. I know that the EPA studies have them a little shaken, so.
Well, I don't think from the discussions I've had with our environmental consultants, I didn't think there was anything serious on that parcel. But our environmental consultants are always available to discuss with them options, just generally. So I would be glad to intervene and get them talking to Peter Cambros, and he is the expert and can probably answer any of their questions and guide them.
Thank you.
Can I make a comment? I mean, just reviewing their plans, their only real site work is demolishing the south building. Something like else.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have institutional barriers everywhere,
Yeah.
correct? So that would not affect anything. And to my knowledge, if you have an institutional barrier, which would be a paved parking lot, there shouldn't be any environmental issues.
That's pretty much CPA's answer to everything.
Yeah.
Over it.
I think their original plan, he had said to me, was to take the slab out from the south building. And that's one of his concerns, if he takes the slab out, and his engineers were instructing him to just pave over the slab instead of taking it out. So I think they're just working through some details like that. But they did appreciate getting the reports from us. Because they had theirs done from the phase 1 from a company out of South Carolina.
Why would they have a phase 1 done?
Because they didn't ask me, I didn't know they were doing it. And they went and had it done, just like they had the asbestos removal all looked at, because if they demolished the building, they had to have an asbestos report on it as well.
What, they have to have testing and then abatement?
Correct. Okay, so that's the two things I have, but under my business, I also have the approval of the special use permit for 4645 West 147th Street to be a place of worship.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. Discussion? Yeah, roll call.
Trustee Kelly.
Aye.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Gillis.
I,
Trustee Price.
Aye.
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Trustee Maskell.
Aye.
Motion carried.
I'd also be looking for the approval of the settlement vacation agreement, subject to the attorney review of the legal description.
I will make the motion.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Trustee Maskell.
Aye.
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Trustee Gillis.
I,
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Killily.
Aye.
Trustee Price.
Aye.
Motion carried.
I'd also be looking for the approval of the vacation agreement, subject to the attorney review of the legal description.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Trustee Gillis.
I,
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Killily.
Aye.
Trustee Price.
Aye.
Trustee Maskell.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, that's all I have. You have anything in work?
Yes, I have a couple of requests. One is from Park Lawn for their charity motorcycle ride that's coming up May 15th. And it's going to be, they're ending, there's going to be at Sullivan's, and request to have Kilpatrick Street, just west of Sullivan's, closed from 147th to 146th Street, from like 1:30 to 6 p.m. This is the same as what was done
Last year, we asked them for people, paper security people to direct traffic. That was a big problem, that they had people out in the middle of the street directing traffic. And I don't know if we directed them to hire policemen or security last year, but that's...
They were instructed last year, I got the letter from last year, to
Okay.
contact the Midlothian Police Department for assistance in traffic control at the time the motorcycle would be arriving at
Police
Sullivan's.
systems, and they had quite a few people out there themselves as
Well,
well. And us, I mean, it was.
I understand during the time, but it seems like there's, from my viewing of it, which I may or may not be accurate, there's people who come in afterwards, and then people who run out in the middle of the street and direct them to, and stop traffic and direct them to turn to Sullivan. So somehow they better, you know, I understand during the, when the big run comes in, I'm sure everything's kosher, but you know, there's other stragglers who come in too, and I believe there was people coming out and charging into the middle of 147th and directing traffic and stopping traffic for the
Yeah, I
post.
wasn't aware of that, but yeah, it definitely should happen.
I may be wrong, but if we could clear that up, that'd be great.
they only use,
Call me.
they only use half of it, right? We don't block the whole street up, so you guys have emergency.
Block the whole street. Yeah, they shut
They
down
block
the
the whole
streets
street.
down. There's quite, it's pretty big, and it keeps growing. It's a pretty big event for the park lawn. Don't, you know, fundraiser.
Mayor, can I comment? Donna is right, last year, when the big run comes, they have everything closed, but after the big run, you still have people coming in, and then you have people leaving. And when they were coming in and leaving, just other people who were
Participants.
at the event would get in the middle of 147th Street and stop traffic so that the bikes could go in around.
All right. Stay on top of that.
What about closing the street?
Where's that?
No, Kilpatrick, right?
Oh, this is Kilpatrick.
There.
Yeah.
That's what the request is. I know, but
That's for the parking.
Jerry, are you,
I thought it was just half the street, so they kept an opening for fire engines or ambulances through if need be. But, I mean, we've done it in the past and there was no issues.
Yeah, that's how they've done it, and it's, I know it's been growing, over the last couple of years, so I don't know. Like, they usually call and talk to me, all I can do is kind of get some details when they, if you're gonna talk to somebody as well.
I gotta send them a letter, but I will also tell them to contact you.
They usually have a diagram of what they're doing, because we have to get in through the plaza or through Burkott's, and it has to all be open so we can get through. So they block the street up, but that section's open for us to get through both of the plazas.
Yes, I think it's been handled pretty well, other than the fact that some people are just randomly jumping in the street to let somebody out, that, that don't fly. We'll have to have a talk with them.
Do we have a count on how many people?
I don't think they know.
I mean, the fire department can do it by square footage.
Oh, for inside.
For inside, yeah, there's a occupancy rating in the building. But they get so many bikes coming in, and that whole street's just filled with bikes. And it's getting, like he says, the event's getting bigger and bigger. It's probably something we need to police and see actually how many people are patronizing this whole event. And probably should have someone getting people in and out of both of them areas. Or especially if we have to come over an ambulance and make sure the area's clear. Someone probably should be there during the event to make sure everything's clear and stay open.
The last I heard, they were looking at this possibly being the last year here because it's outgrown it. It's starting to outgrown it. I don't know for what it's worth or that. It's catch-22. You like to have them all, all the business and everything. It's like a great cause, but it's also need to keep it safe too. So.
someone is gonna monitor the occupancy limit?
We will.
Okay.
The fire department will definitely do a check on it.
Okay, all right.
So I can send them a letter saying it's okay. Okay. Okay, secondly, I have a request from Misericordia for collections for the week ending Friday and Saturday, April 29th and 30th on the corners. They've done this also in the past. I don't know if they've done it here, but we approved it last year for the same. So, okay, and that's all I have.
Okay. With no further business to come before the board at 8:27, I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.